Hello, everybody. It is Monday, and we are in the chat box. I'm super excited about what's getting ready to take place on tonight. I'm your host, Jabrina Speaks, and as you know, every first and third Monday, we're in the chat box with our Let's Talk Business segment. And I'm super excited because guess what? It is the first Monday in December. God has kept us all year long. We have made it to number 12. And you know what? Listen, we're super excited about what's getting ready to take place. And so go ahead and hit the share button. Go ahead and comment. Hey, Keith, thanks for joining us on tonight. Go ahead and let people know that you're in the chat box, with us. I'm super excited about this guest that I have on tonight. She is an amazing woman. Listen, y'all, I'm trying to figure out, Sharon, where we actually connected at. And maybe it will come back to your memory because I'm like, where did I meet Sharon at? But either way it went, when we connected, we truly connected. And so I want to thank Miss Sharon for being in the chat box with me on tonight. Y'all are in for a treat. Go ahead, hit the comment button, hit the share button, because we know it is the holiday time. We know that sometimes we begin to overspend. We know that January 1st, we start all of these savings rituals that we feel like, oh my God, hey, Miss Tammy, oh my goodness, we want to save our money. And what better way to end 2023, to prepare you for 2024, than to bring this money guru, this financial person in the chat box with me. Hello, Miss Sharon. How are you doing on today?
Hi. It's so good to be here, Jabrina. Thank you so much. I believe that we connected on Facebook. I believe is when you were starting She Connects. Okay. You and I somehow, I don't know if I had commented on your page or you on mine, but when you were starting She Connects, you had told me that you visited my page and saw my profile, and you told me the vision that you had, and I was all about it. It was about womanhood. It was about connecting and not competing, supporting each other. And I was like, yes. Yeah. And so I think that's how we got started.
Well, listen, that's a story for many of you. You know, a lot of people frown upon social media. They frown upon connecting with people. But as you can see, me and this amazing woman connected through social media. And so that's what tonight is all about. So, Miss Sharon, introduce yourself and tell the people who you are and what is it that you do.
Well, as you can see, my name is Sharon Alexander. I am the CEO of SA Financials Inc. We are an accounting and taxation firm nationwide. So we serve the entire U.S. and its territories. We provide small business consultations. We provide guidance, financial literacy. So we don't just sell a service. We also try to empower and uplift and educate mainly our small minority small businesses. That is a passion for me because that's where I come from. And so I know what it's like to feel like a small fish in a big pond. So I those are my babies, my minority companies.
So that's good to know. So you provide, you said, because you was starting to break up just a little bit. So you said you provide financial, and then it cut off after that.
Okay, I'm sorry. I provide financial literacy. So I do free consultations depending on the how soon you're starting up your business. If you're in the startup process and you have not yet registered, we do free consultations because I know that it's tough when you're out there trying to get started doing something and everybody you ask is trying to charge. Now, I'm not against anybody providing a service in order to make money. If you're not a nonprofit, that's what you do. But I'm very passionate about helping people. For me, it's kind of sort of like a ministry. So when I get someone who's saying, I want to start a business, I will sit down with you for a whole hour and change and do a free consultation, give you some education. Financial literacy is something that I think is lacking in the minority community. We don't understand a lot. And so I feel like we can be way more successful, not just with our talents and our gifts, but also understanding business from yeah.
Wow. Okay, so that just put a plug right there because I'll be bringing you to one of the next She Connects Inc. seminars and saw Jabrina Speaks seminars for you to break down that financial part for the people, especially to the business
Okay.
people about that. So I definitely want to bring you on. So Sharon, tell me and the audience, how did you get started in this financial background, in this financial literacy? And then what pushed you to help the minorities in this avenue?
Okay, so here's the thing. When I was in high school, I always wanted to be an interior designer, which I did go to college and I do have my bachelor degree in interior design distinction. But while in high school, my mom said to me, I believe that every woman, keep in mind, this was over 30 years ago. I
Mhm.
believe every woman should have clerical skills, some office skills. You never know if you need to fall back on something. So have a fallback plan, is what she said. And so
Mm.
she recommended that I take accounting because my mom is a nurse, but she also took accounting. She also has business skills. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll take accounting. Took it for 4 years in high school. Never thought that I was ever going to use that. To my surprise, when I graduated, I also received a certificate of completion in accounting 1 through 4. Okay, so there was that. And fast forward to my layoff in 2008. When I was
Mm.
laid off, it was everybody who can remember that time, who was working, who was now without a job, remembers how we had to really work for little to nothing in order to stay working. And it was
Mhm.
during that time I had health issues as well. And while I was in the hospital, the Lord came to me, and I promise you
Mm.
this, and told me, start a business while I was laid up in the hospital. And
Wow.
I said, okay, God, but what business do I start? And I said, is it interior design or is it accounting? And he says, accounting. And I was a little disappointed because that's not my passion. And I
Mhm.
said, but God, so he said, accounting. I said, okay, so what do I name this company? And he gave me SA Financials. And when he said
Mm.
it to me, I knew immediately S and the A were my initials. So I said, okay, God, but how do I do this?
Mhm.
This is a recession. Like, this is a scary time to do something like that. To step out into entrepreneurship when I should be trying to make money is kind of crazy. So I said, so God, what I'll do is I will start it, but I'll do it on the side. So let me just, when I get out of this hospital and I get well, I'm going to go find me a job because I can make money. Because I was already working in accounting at that time for like 20 years. And how I
Mhm.
got there, that's another mystery. Um, God told me to start this business and get into entrepreneurship. He says, I'm calling you to something greater than you. And to make a long story short, he says, I have ministry purpose for you. And this is something a lot of people don't know.
Come
What I
on.
had been through up until that entrepreneurship was preparing me for what God had ultimately called me to. And I remember saying, God, why don't you just get me to get a great job? You know, you'll get the glory. I was saying, look what God did in the middle of a recession while everybody's struggling. Look at how he's got me. You're going to get the glory anyway. And he says, it's not about that. I need you available for me. And at the time, he didn't tell me what type of ministry. And I remember having this conversation with God, and I said, but God, I can do this. But ministry, I didn't see myself preaching. When you hear ministry, you think pulpit preaching. I said, I got a nice little voice, God, that you gave me, but I'm not passionate about singing. I mean, I can sing, but that's not what I want to do. And he says, no, that's not what I'm calling you to. And I'm like, but what else is there? I said, I'm shy, so I'm not afraid to speak in public. I don't get intimidated by crowds, but I just didn't see that for myself. Fast forward to him actually revealing to me what he called me to. I went through a series of struggling because I did not step out on faith into entrepreneurship right away. I let fear grab a hold of me. And I've tried really hard to hold on to jobs and do this thing that God told me to do on the side. I tried to do it on my terms. I tried to do it my way. And for every job that I applied for, I didn't get. And every time I did get a job, it wasn't paying enough. And I was confused because I was like, God, I'm equipped, I'm educated, I have job, skills. Why can't I land these jobs? Yes, it was a recession, but these were jobs that were actually available. He just would not let me get settled on a job. He made it very uncomfortable for me to settle on a job.
I'm gonna
And
stop you right
finally,
there.
he let me get a little bit settled, but he
I'm gonna
continued to process.
I'm gonna stop you right there because you just said a lot, and I hope that the people are catching it because you talked about how you were laying in the hospital bed and he gave you an assignment. And so you felt like, wait a second, I'm already literally on my back and you want me to step out on faith. And so this is for the people that are watching, that some of you may be feeling like you're laying on your back and you may feel like all hell is breaking loose. But if you heard God tell you to do the business, then it's time to step out and step forward, because you can't walk into 2024 with the same thing. He made it very uncomfortable for her. She was well equipped, probably over equipped for the job she was applying for, but the assignment was greater than what she was trying to do. And so some of us have to put our own agendas back, because she knew if I could go work for somebody else, then that would supply my needs. But God said, I am the need supplier. I am Jehovah Jireh. So why are you trying to outdo me and go work for somebody else that I've already told you that I needed you to do this? And so when you understand your assignment, then you understand the rules you have to follow. When you understand the calling on your life, you see, my sister Sharon, she was trying to, I'm gonna say, double dutch a little bit. She was jumping in and out because she knew if I could get a check from the other people, my bills will be secured. But God said, I don't need you to get the check from them. I have a check already written with your name on it. Just do what I told you to do, and that was gonna start the business. And so when you understand the calling that's on your life, when you understand what God has for you, even laying on your back, meaning she was physically in the hospital and she lost her job and then went in the hospital. Now you already know that's a double whammy, because now you're thinking, how am I going to survive out here? The natural part of you was saying, how am I going to survive? But then you have to remember the God that you serve, the one that gives you vision and ideas to say, you know what? I equipped you for this already. When you were younger, your mom had you go in accounting class in high school, which that was already equipping you. So going back to Jeremiah 29 and 11, where the Bible tells us, for I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you. And so, yes, naturally, she was like, wait a second, y'all. I want to go be an interior decorator. I got a degree for this thing. And God said, no, I have more for you. A lot of us are sitting in places, well, where we see, we got, and I've seen this analogy on social media, where we have the small teddy bear, but Jesus had the big teddy bear behind his back, but the child in front couldn't see it. And so that's how many of us, or a few of us, are working, is that we don't understand that he has the bigger plan for us, but because the small one is one we can hold and we can do it, then we don't want to give it up. We want to feel comfortable. You said that God made you uncomfortable so you can begin to do the work that he gave you. And it was bigger than the money. It was ministry that needed to take place, because if you take care of his house,
Yes.
he will take care of yours. Go ahead,
Come
Sharon.
on
I just
now.
had to throw that out there because it was
Come
like,
on now.
woo!
Oh
I
my
was
goodness.
like,
Yes.
that,
Yes, 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 yes.
I hear God in the spirit right now. Wow.
Oh yeah.
Mm,
Absolutely. Absolutely. So every time somebody asks me that question, I'm like, I try to keep it short and I try to, keep it on the surface, but it is so deep. It is so deep. And I will tell you this, I bargain with God a lot. And in the moment that I bargain with him to let me do this my way, God, just let me go get a job making six figures. I'll save up for 6 months to a year. Then I'll quit and I'll do this thing full time. He never allowed me to get comfortable doing that. And when I finally stepped out, When I stepped out, I had no clients. When I stepped out, I was not doing it on the side. I was not making any money. But he continued to speak to me. I went to a conference and he spoke to me through someone, and this person said, I don't know who I'm talking to, but God has been telling you to jump for the longest. He's telling you that he's going to catch you. And if you jump now, he's telling you that you're going to be okay. Now, I knew this was me. So I go home. Mind you, God said jump now into entrepreneurship because he had a greater purpose. So I go home and I say, okay, God, when you say jump now, do you mean right now? Or do I give my job 2 weeks notice? Or do I just never go back? Like I'm still questioning God because the self-saboteur stepped in to try to kill, steal, and destroy what God had planned for me. And I'm entertaining this fear and I'm entertaining this apprehension and not listening. Mind you, I said I knew that God called me to entrepreneurship. When I finally stepped out, the very week that I left my job, in that week, I earned almost $3,000 in 1 week. When I finally took that leap of faith into entrepreneurship, when I finally said, okay, God, I will no longer bargain with you. I will no longer question you. I will no longer try to do this my way or on my own. I'm going to apply every ounce of faith that I have because you just won't let me get comfortable. He won't. So I said, I'm going to do it. I'm going to trust you the way that I know how to trust you. I don't know what you're
wow.
calling me to. I said, but God, at one point I said, God, whatever it is you're calling me to, I forfeit it because this process is ridiculous. It's too much. I said, why would you choose me when you know I would fail you? I said, God, you created me. You know I ain't cut out for all this. And he said, how are you questioning me? If I created you, don't you know that I know what your capacity is? Don't you know
Come
that
on.
I know what you're capable of? Don't you know what I have put in you? I know I can trust that. If I can't trust you, I can trust what I put in you. So I said, okay, God, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it, but this is going to be on you, God, like literally.
Wow.
And
Wow.
that first week, I earned $3,000.
Wow. 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 Listen, I'm over here.
$3,000. And
I'm like,
eventually, God
whoa.
showed me.
Mm-hmm.
He eventually showed me the ministry that he called me to. Because I still continued the question. I said, okay, God, so okay, I'm open to ministry, whatever it is. And I'm not going to try to figure out what I think I'm good at or where I feel like I fit in. You tell me what you're calling me to. And I remember laying in my bed one night, and God took me like he did Ezekiel in the valley of dry bones. And he said, you see this right here? This is what I've called you to. I have called you to a restoration ministry. I've called you to an Ezekiel 37 ministry. You see how in 2008 you lost everything to the point where I was getting evicted. I had cars being repossessed. And this went on for years because I questioned God for years. I never just went and did what God told me to do. Tried to do things my way for years. And God allowed me to lose and lose and lose and lose and lose. But he continued to provide. And he finally showed me the ministry. He said, this is not within the walls of the church. There are people out there who are suffering loss, who are displaced, just like you. Thank God I've never had to literally live on the street. I've always had somebody's couch I could sleep on, a family member who said, girl, come here, get in my bed with me. So I thank God for that. But I know what it's like to not have, and I know what it's like to be without. And when you finally get your hands on something, I know what it's like to lose. So I've been without. to the point where I never thought I was ever going to have again. So when God showed me the valley of dry bones, he said, I've called you to speak into dry bones. I've called you to speak life into dead situations.
Mm,
But you're going to have to do this for people outside of the walls of the church.
mhm,
And this Ezekiel 37 ministry is something that's dear to my heart. My
mm,
pastors, they really support it. And so I partnered up with some homeless shelters, and I now go around and I collect, donations sometimes, or items for, hygiene items. Because when I've never been on the streets, but I've seen people out there, and I know it's bad enough that they're out there. It would be nice for them to be able to take a bath, be fresh, not have to be, bad body odor and all this other stuff, because people are afraid of them. Nobody really wants to help sometimes. And
mm.
so, God just gave me a passion because it's something that I've been through. He allowed me to go through it so I could tell somebody they can survive it. So
Wow.
walking into entrepreneurship, I've been trusting God this whole time from 2015 when I finally said, okay, God, I'm done. I give up. I surrender. And I have never been back in the workforce since. God has continued to provide. He's provided homes, He's provided cars, He's provided finances, He's fixed my credit. He has, listen, allowed me to be able to help my children from time to time. I have two adult children, one in the military, my son, who's going to be 31 this month, my daughter, who's 27, who's dealing with a health issue right now. But she's able to come home, and God has provided the means for me to sustain the both of us. He's sustaining me, and my business is thriving. I'm to the point where I'm able to give free services from time to time, teach financial literacy masterclasses for free. I do a lot of work with the counties when I get the opportunity to do so, and I just teach and I educate and I empower. And I love that way more than I do when I provide a service and I get paid, because when the ministry is in you, every opportunity you get to minister, where you're not making a dollar for it, where you're not being compensated for it, it's so much more fulfilling than actually making a dollar. Now, I don't mind making money. That's why I'm in
Right.
business. But anytime I get to educate and empower and to help and to minister is what I call it. I'm so elated. Like that right there means so much more to me than anything else. God has blessed my business. He really has. He has allowed me to expand from simple bookkeeping, which is what I started doing when I came out. Um, I focused more on cleanup work for
Mhm,
small businesses, because a lot of small business owners, we're talented at what we do. Our
mhm,
product that we sell, we believe in it. Our service, we're very passionate about it, but our back office is hardly ever organized. And it's something that I've noticed. So when I say I really take my minority small business owners by the hand, and I give them
mhm,
step-by-step guidance. This is how you become successful. This is how you position yourself. This is what you do so that you can have access to the very thing that the other people have access to. Don't say it's not for me because it's difficult for to come by. It may
mhm,
be difficult, but it's possible. And so I let them see the possibilities. I let them see just how being organized in your financials can get you
mhm,
favorable to a lender, to an investor. You know what I mean? And even to the IRS. I teach compliance because a lot of us are not compliant running our businesses. We are not.
Wow.
Um,
Wow.
but yes, I take a lot of in that.
Listen, your story, just in a little bit that you shared, has blessed my heart. And I hope that the people that are watching, that are engaging, that the things that Sharon has shared has blessed you. Again, it is Monday night. You're in the chat box with me. I'm your host, Jabrina Speaks, and I have the amazing Sharon Alexander from SA Financial in the chat box with me. Listen, if y'all didn't get anything else out of what she does, I hope that you were able to hear her story, because a lot of times we don't move because of fear, and then we have to pay the consequences for not moving. And so you're wondering why you are
Mhm.
not being blessed the way that you need to be blessed, is because you trying to do something God ain't tell you to do, or you not doing what he has told you to do. And so Sharon literally has
Right.
shared that part of her story, excuse me, with us on tonight. Y'all, it blessed me because, again, just knowing when God tells you to move, especially in this season, we are about to walk out of 2023. We're about to walk in 2024, and there are some things that you do not need to take over, and there's some things you need to put over there before we even get to 2024. And so you have to understand what it is that you need to carry and what it is that you need to let go. And so, hey Keith, she's gonna share her information, how you can connect with her in the end. But it's just so imperative that when we know and when we realize the voice of God, when we hear it, when we know that it's Him, because the Bible tells us you'll know His voice when He speaks. And so you have to be very, very, very keen to it. And you have to move. Like she said, God said, move now. And so it was like, wait a second, right now, tomorrow, in 2 days, where is it where I'm going? Hold on. Can I put 2 weeks in? No. God will tell you very strategically what to do, but then it's up to you to do what He tells you to do. She walked out of poverty into her promised land from her obedience. And so when she understood, because God wouldn't let her be prosperous when He told her what to do. He stopped there. Okay, you can get the job, but you ain't gonna make as much money. You can get X, Y, and Z, but watch, it's gonna be gone in a few days or a few weeks or a few months. And so she had to go through it. But at the same time, He was teaching her. So when He released her, or when she finally said, "Okay, Lord, I'm ready to go," to the people, she will speak from a real place, from a sincere place, from a knowing place. I know what it is to lose a car. I know what it
I
is to
know.
not have money in the bank. I know what it is to sleep on somebody's couch. And so the ministry had to come from the heart. And a lot of times we as people, we start ministry, but it is not from the heart. We started because of what somebody else is doing. We started because we see what we can gain from it. We started because maybe it'll put enough money in our bank account, but then that's why it cannot flourish, because it was never done from the heart. It was never done with the
Right.
right intentions. And so God took her mess and made it a ministry. God took her mess and made it a message.
Mhm.
And so now she can speak from a sincere place. And it really blessed me, Sharon, on tonight to have you share what you shared about your business and how you got started and how God is using you in this season of your life. And again, I didn't know this much of what you shared, but it blessed me on tonight. And I'm so excited that you are in the chat box with me on tonight, because I believe that this will help people push over into 2024. Some of them may be having that nudge or that nudge or that, like, wait a second, should I be doing this? And they know what they hear, but they're scared. And so tonight we pray that you will step out of the scaredness and step into the light that God is calling you to be in. Because if you go back and hit the replay, if you're just joining us right now, Sharon shared her story of how God brought her over to where she needs to be at now. And so, Sharon, with that being said on tonight, um, because you gave so much in the beginning, I was like, "Ooh, this is so good." But if there is someone that's watching, that's just coming on, or could be watching right now, maybe doing what you do, but maybe not to the level that you're doing it on, or maybe somebody that knows that they feel that nudge from God telling them, okay, 2024 is your year to step out on faith. It is, or before we leave out of 2023, I need you to do X, Y, and Z. What words of encouragement could you share with them? Could you give them on tonight to help them push if they needed that extra push?
Okay, so here's the thing. What I would encourage you to leave in 2023 is fear. Leave it right here. Leave the self-saboteur because that's of the devil. He does not want us to succeed. He wants to kill, steal, and destroy every good thing that we have. So I want us to leave frivolous spending. I want us to leave a small mindset when it comes to your business, because I say this all the time. Just because you have a small business does not mean that you have to have a small mind. You can
Mm,
still dream big. You can still aim high, because even as a small business, you're making a huge impact. If you don't know, this country actually runs on the backs of small businesses, which is why there's so much money for small business. There's so much funding for small businesses. If there are no more small businesses, believe it or not, we think that we're inferior when it comes to big corporations, but they need us way more than they need those big corporations. And so, with
mm,
knowing that, you're empowered. Knowing that when you move forward into 2024, don't be afraid to fail, because that teaches you what doesn't work. Failing actually helps you elevate, because it shows you what doesn't work, what needs to be cut out, where you need to move from and where you need to move to. And I will say this, also leave competition in 2023. There's enough work out here for everybody. And if God gave you your gift and your talent, and he put that passion in you to do what, to move into entrepreneurship, trust me, trust God, trust what's in you. Into 2024, step out. Lead the competition in 23. Don't be afraid to get with somebody who's doing exactly what it is that God called you to, and say, hey, sis, hey, sir, how did you get here? Can you show me this? Can you show me that? Is there some information that you have for me? I tell people all the time, I learn a lot because I ask questions. I'm not afraid to tell someone that I don't know. I have never done that. But you know what? Give me a couple days. Let me do a little research and I will come back and have an answer for you. Don't be afraid to say you don't know. If you really don't know, find out.
mm,
People respect you more when you're honest. If you pretend to know everything and they find out you know absolutely nothing, is more humiliating. So in 2023, let's leave frivolous spending. Come 2024, let's budget. Let's stay disciplined when it comes to our finances. Let's focus on our personal credit. And if you're a small business owner, start becoming curious about establishing business credit. How do I do that? How do I start? Where do I start? What can I personally do to catapult my business when it comes to that? So I'm encouraging everyone on this chat and everyone who's going to come later, um, to listen to the calling. If you, and remember, it's not about the calling, more so the caller, because sometimes the calling can be intimidating. But when you know who the caller is, that's where you get all of your fierceness, and that's where you get all of your confidence in the caller. Because the calling might sound huge. You know what I mean? That's why we get why we allow fear to cripple us and we don't move forward, especially when we're providing our business or our providing our service or selling our product. We might feel like my product isn't as good as his or hers. My service might not be as valuable as his or hers. But God
mm,
called you to it. He's going to connect you to the right client or customer. He's going to put you in the right room. He's going to allow you to make the right connections. So
mm.
when it comes to your business, I'm trying to keep it on business, but this is really the spirituality of it all is really kind of like taking over right now. So I just tell you this. I mean, my experience was that God called me to entrepreneurship, and if you had that same experience, I'm here to tell you I'm a witness that what you think cannot happen for you actually can. Don't let your journey be as long as mine. Don't question God. Ask God questions. There is a difference. I learned that this weekend at a retreat. You can ask God questions, but don't question God.
That's good. That's good. Listen, you just bless you some. Hey, one thing about this platform, you don't have to apologize when we start talking about what Jesus and God and the Holy Spirit gonna do. Because I believe that if people could get that down in them, they will understand that they cannot do anything without Him. And so the visions, the ideas, all of that comes from Him. He
Absolutely.
instilled that in you in the beginning, and so you don't owe an apology for that, because honey, when you talk to me, that's what we're gonna talk about anyway. But it is a blessing to understand and to know that God, right? Because
Right.
you went through what you went through, but you understood. You might not have liked it. You might didn't understand it at that moment because a lot of it didn't make sense. You lost a lot, but where you are now, it built you to where you are now.
Right.
It allowed you to step up even higher. And so a lot of times we get discouraged in the valley. We get discouraged in that low place. But then we have to understand
Mhm.
that the only way we're going to get to the mountaintop is to walk through the valley. And so the Bible already tells us that, yea, though I walk through the valley
Absolutely.
of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Thou art with me. So when we know that even in our valley, that God is still walking with us, that he is pruning us, that we will be restored later, that we'll be able to restart later, that we'll be able to rejoice later. When we
Mhm.
understand that, we may cry a little bit, we may lose a lot of things, but when we understand who we serve and why he is doing what he is doing in our lives, then we're able to count it all joy. We're able to lift our hands. We're able to give him glory in the midst of it all. And so a lot of times people get discouraged when we get to December because the bills are due. Christmas is coming up. Thanksgiving just left. We're wondering how are we going to make it over. But if God has kept you from January 1st, 2023, he will keep you to December 31st, 2023, and let you walk into January 1st, 2024. And you just have to believe that. And so Sharon talked about the financial stability. She talked about how she's willing to give back. Why would you not reach out to her if you know that you may be in a financial hard place or hardship so you can get yourself together? Only way we are going to move up and get to where we need to be is if we do things right. And so let's be honest. Some of us haven't been saving. Some of us haven't been doing what we're supposed to be doing. But God saw fit that this woman of God will accept this assignment today to be on the line tonight to share her story so then you can be blessed, so then you can walk out and walk into what God has for you. She naturally lay on a hospital bed hearing God. But some of you are in a hospital bed spiritually, and God is trying to tell you, answer the call. Like she said, it's not about the call, it's about the caller. And when you understand who's calling you, because see, let's just be honest, Holy Spirit, I hear you. Some of us would ignore calls naturally. We put people on do not disturb. We
Mhm.
look to see calling and don't want to answer because we don't know what they are going to ask us. We don't know what they're going to need. But then why are we not answering the call when God called it? Because it's going to take you out of your comfort
Mhm.
zone. It's going to put you to a place that will make you say, you know what, God, I am so grateful that I finally answered your call, because the call is intimidating. The call, I'm gonna be honest, the call can feel almost like a burden, almost, because you're gonna have to give up some things, you're gonna have to shift some things, you can't keep doing what you used to do. But God is saying, but if you trust me and do what I told you to do, I promise you, you're gonna get your reward. And so you added
Oh yeah.
ministry in it. God knew, I got to give you ministry for this because I need you to help the people that are there. Because see, he got us down here making sure we doing the work of the Lord. And so when you understand that, like you
Mhm.
said, it's not about a dollar, because God is providing the money. I'm doing a
Oh yeah.
a group session with about 6 to 7 women, and we've been meeting. And the other day, and I know jokingly with the situation with Ti and his son, and they said when they send you this picture, it means absolutely. It means stand on business. And I began to like see people write that. And I said, I'm not knocking nobody, but I'm standing on God who provides the business. Because if I stand on business alone, then
That's right.
it's God don't got nothing to do with it. But if I stand on God's business, who's going to provide the business that I need, then I can really stand on business. And so when
Mhm.
we understand that, because I believe words have power. And
That's
so I
right.
just can't be out here saying I'm standing on business. Because if I say I am standing on business, that means that I've taken God out of the equation. But if I say I'm standing on God's business, then that lets people know that the business is already going to be handled, because God, I'm standing on his business first, because then he going to make sure that the business is where it needs to be. And so when we understand that, then I gotta stand on God's business. Because if he ain't in it, then I don't want to be there. Because if he ain't in it, then I know it ain't gonna prosper. If he ain't in it, then I know it's gonna sit dormant and it ain't gonna make no movement. If he ain't in it, the contracts and things are not gonna come. So I need God to be a part of my business, so then my business can flourish the way that it needs to flourish. So you owe no apologies about talking about the way God has kept you all this time since 2015. Since 2015, let's just be honest. They need to hear how God kept you, because it's somebody possibly that is sitting in that same seat you were sitting in when you told your story. You said you know what it is to have to go to somebody's house and sleep. There is somebody that will watch this now or watch this later that may be sitting there, but your story has given them hope on tonight to say, but it won't always be like this. God is perfecting that concerning, sooner or later, it will turn in your favor. It's turning around for me. I don't know how to sing, y'all. I'm sure that sounds horrible, but y'all know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Listen.
Oh, my goodness. This blessed me. Thank you so much for having me on.
I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful you accepted the assignment on today to be in the chat box with me. And not that anybody had to even know that, because they wouldn't know anyway. But I shared that because I want people to see why this call, what we're doing right now, this chat box segment, is so important. It was divinely connected, because we don't know who this is going to bless. And if it don't bless nobody else, it blessed me on tonight. And so I believe that it shall and it will bless somebody on tonight.
Absolutely.
The people are asking, how can they get in contact with you? How can they connect with you? Please share all of your platforms that they can come and find you on.
Okay. Well, you can find me on Facebook as Sharon Alexander, or you can follow my Facebook page, SA Financials Inc. You will find me on Instagram at ShayAlex2022. That's my personal Instagram. And then you can find me on my business Instagram at SA Financials. You can also visit my website, www.safinancial.net. And you can always call my office during the hours of 9 to 5:30, 954-391-6684. And like I said earlier, I'm willing to assist anyone complimentary that has a small business or that's trying to start up a business and they don't know where to start. They don't know what to do. They're trying to figure out what's the best corporate structure. Should I do an LLC or a C Corp? Why should I do an S Corp? I'm willing. If you're watching this podcast tonight, I'm willing to assist. Call my office, send me, visit my website, and you can contact me there, schedule a consultation, and we'll do it for free. I want to help. I want to give back. And this is the ministry part of my business.
So when you guys contact Sharon, you have to let her know that you saw this on the chat box, so she'll know that she's giving it to you that way. So you have to mention, I watched the podcast. Yes. I was on the chat box. I want some more information, because that's the only way she go. That's how we know if y'all really watch this tonight. If y'all put in that y'all watch the chat box. Drop your information one more time. Drop your information one more time for me, please.
Okay, Sharon Alexander on Facebook, ShayAlex2022 on Instagram, SA Financials Inc. on Facebook, and at SA Financials on Instagram. Also, my website is www.safinancial.net, not .com, .net, and you can reach my office at 954-391-6684.
Listen, y'all asking how to contact her. So y'all better contact her. Let her know that you watched it on the chat box and you want to reach out to her, because I'm going to be reaching out to her as well for two different reasons. But I'm definitely going to have you on a, you already know how I do it. So you'll be, so you'll be right on over here. I need to see if this January, I need to see if this January date is available for you, because in my head it's already going. I need to bring you on a platform on the other side. And so before we get off, Sharon, do you have anything else you want to leave the audience with before we get off?
Yes, I really want to encourage somebody. There's somebody on here, like you said, who's probably still not going to do it. They're still going to be apprehensive. And I want to say to you, make the move, take the chance, shoot your shot, step out. I know it's a lot of people. A lot of people do this. We make New Year resolutions all the time come November, December. And I want to say to anybody who's saying, okay, this year, 2024, I'm going to do it. Really, really, truly do it. And if you start to become afraid, call me. Call me. You want someone who's going to encourage you when you start becoming timid or when you feel like you're up against a lot of no's. And getting a lot of no's in business is normal. The no's don't feel good, but they're actually good for you. So when you feel like you come up against a wall and you don't know if there's a window there, if there's a door, call me. I'm willing to be that support system for you, because I really don't want anybody who's on here to go through what I went through. Everybody has their journey, but yours doesn't have to be as long as mine was. Yours doesn't have to be as difficult as mine was. And I really wish that I had someone who was holding my hand saying, I got you. You know what I mean? I had God, but I wasn't listening. I let fear take me. And so I want to say to somebody, don't be afraid. Failing is part of succeeding. It's the natural order of things. So don't be intimidated by failing. Don't be intimidated by a no. Don't let that stop you. You can do it. I'm telling you, you can. I'm here. I'm a testimony. And it's so much deeper than I shared tonight. And if you want to know more and you want more details, give me a call, reach out to me, and I will give you my full story. Because maybe that'll help you take that lead.
Wow. Wow. Listen, her test is only a testimony for you to take that leap of faith. As she said, do it, shoot your shot, make the call, step out on faith, whatever it is that you need to do to get to manifest the vision that God has given you. Do it. This is, if you need it, that, like, you know how you be like, should I do it? Should I do it? Should I do it? And tonight you got to do it, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. Okay, just get it done, do it. And she's already told you.
Do it.
Absolutely right. Just do it. Don't even ask anymore. Just do it. But she's already told you
Just
that
do
she
it.
would be that sister you can call to ask questions. And again, she's willing to share and more in depth about her story if that will help you get to the next level. And that's what it's all about. That's what ministry is all about. Um, and it's so funny because a lot of
Mhm.
times people use platforms to share all of their business, and and it's not always needed because you don't know how you can hurt somebody. But like she said, in a private setting, she can give you more if you need more. And so that's what it's all about. And so again, Sharon, I appreciate you so much for joining in with us on tonight. Listen, everybody, this is every first and third Monday. Just do it. It was a wow. One of the ladies, Miss Tammy, said, just do it was the sermon on 2 Sundays ago. Right. Just do it. So listen, that's y'all confirmation right there. Just do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it.
Yes.
Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. But whatever, do it. Just do it. We're about to walk out of 2023 and about to walk in 2024. And so we pray that you don't walk out of and into the same way. And so just do it. Tonight is your confirmation to just do it.
Mhm.
But again, this is the chat box. I'm your host, Jabrina Speaks. I have been doing this for the last 12 months, this particular segment. Um, it was Let's Talk Business this year. Last year was My Pain, My Progress, My Purpose. And so the third Monday of this month will be the last Let's Talk Business segment. It is the last one. Right, it's the shirt. It's the last one, and so I'm excited because God has already given me the new segment and what's going to take place. So Sharon, I'll be reaching out for that for you to come on that one too. But yeah, so let's just get ready. Just do it. Know that we love you, and there is
Okay.
absolutely
Okay.
nothing you can do about it. We love you. We are here to help. We are here to assist the best way we can. I look forward to having you joining me the last third Monday of the year in December. That'll be the last Let's Talk Business for this year. And we hope you have an amazing night. Listen, don't forget to reach out to Miss Sharon. She has some great information for you. And make the necessary connections because you never know where it will take you in the future. We love you. Have a good rest of your night. Enjoy your night. Enjoy your night. And I look forward to seeing you the third Monday, the last third Monday of 2020, 2023. Excuse me. Have an amazing night. We love you guys.